You ever wake up, grab your phone, and realize the timeline shows violence before you even chose coffee? Because that's exactly what happened when the internet started screaming that Chrisean Rock was rushed to the hospital after a nuclear level blow-up with Zena Zion, and somewhere in the chaos, Blueface allegedly declared war like he was auditioning for a low-budget Marvel villain role. This isn't just drama. This is reality TV on steroids without the network censor button. The clips started flying, the screenshots started multiplying, and suddenly everybody became a certified body language expert with a Wi-Fi connection. 1 minute it's shady comments, the next minute it's hospital reports circulating like leaked government files. And Blueface, oh, he allegedly stepped into the chat like a final boss character, dropping cryptic threats that sounded less like closure and more like a sequel trailer. If this is true, this makes the Kardashians look like a comic book club. And if it's not, well, somebody deserves an Oscar for the performance of the year. The tension didn't start with flashing lights and hospital rumors. It started the way modern chaos always does, with subtle shade that slowly mutated into open hostility. Weeks before the alleged blow-up, Chrisean and Zena Zion were already orbiting each other like two storm systems waiting to collide. The posts were cryptic but pointed. The captions were vague but loud. You could practically hear the passive aggression through the screen. At first, fans brushed it off as typical social media theatrics. After all, in the influencer industrial complex, mild tension is basically a marketing tool. But this didn't feel like playful jabs. This felt personal. And when things feel personal on the internet, they rarely stay small. They expand like microwave popcorn, fast, loud, and impossible to ignore. Then came the live stream. You know the one, the clip that spread faster than common sense, voices raised, hands moving. The kind of energy that makes you turn your volume down but lean closer to the screen. Allegedly, words were exchanged that went beyond friendly disagreement. This wasn't petty. This was volcanic. And within hours, social media was doing what it does best, rewriting events in real time. Some claimed it was just a heated argument. Others swore it escalated physically. A few self-proclaimed witnesses popped up out of nowhere, describing scenes like they were narrating an action movie trailer. Funny how everyone suddenly had front row seats to something that wasn't even publicly broadcast in full. Then the rumor detonated. Chrisean rushed to hospital. No official statement, no verified report, just screenshots, reposts, and dramatic captions in all caps. And in 2026, all caps might as well be a legal document. Within minutes, timelines were flooded with blurry photos of what people claimed was a hospital entrance. Comments read like emergency room fan fiction. The internet went from gossip to panic faster than you can refresh a feed. Here's the part that's almost poetic. Nobody paused. Nobody waited for confirmation. The story didn't need proof. It needed momentum. And momentum it had. Memes started forming before facts could breathe. Some people were genuinely worried. Others were already crafting punchlines. That's the duality of social media: compassion on one scroll, comedy on the next. Meanwhile, Zena Zion's name was trending like she just dropped an album titled Controversy. Every comment section turned into a courtroom. Accusers, defenders, think pieces written into 180 characters or less. You'd think the Supreme Court had convened in the Instagram comments. But let's not ignore the real accelerant in this situation: Blueface. Because when whispers of the hospital situation started circulating, he allegedly jumped online with energy that could short-circuit Wi-Fi towers, cryptic messages, statements that read like battle declarations. This isn't over. That phrase alone launched 1,000 conspiracy threads. Now, what does this "isn't over" actually mean? Is it emotional frustration? Is it performative bravado? Is it protective instinct dialed up to theatrical levels? The internet didn't care. The internet heard sequel. And the moment those words hit the timeline, the narrative shifted from incident to impending war. People started dissecting Blueface's tone like it was a Grammy speech. Was he angry, calculated, escalating on purpose. In the digital age, even punctuation becomes evidence, and the wild part, we still didn't have confirmed details about what actually happened between Chrisean and Zena. But the story had already grown legs, arms, and a full personality of its own. This is the algorithm effect. The rumor becomes the headline becomes the assumed truth becomes public memory. Some fans speculated that Chrisean's alleged hospital visit was precautionary. Others insisted it was serious. A few skeptics even suggested the entire situation was exaggerated for attention, because apparently nobody believes anything is organic anymore. If two public figures breathe in the same dramatic direction, someone's calling it a rollout strategy. But here's where the tension really tightened. Old clips resurfaced. Past arguments were reposted. Tweets from months ago suddenly became foreshadowing. The internet loves connecting dots that may or may not even be on the same page. It became less about what happened that night and more about the storyline people wanted to believe. Was this jealousy, betrayal, competition, a long-simmering rivalry? Finally boiling over, the theories multiplied like gremlins in water. One anonymous account claimed security had to intervene. Another swore medical assistance was immediate. A third insisted nothing serious happened at all. 3 versions, 0 verification, maximum engagement. And that's the part nobody talks about. Engagement. Drama fuels clicks. Clicks fuel visibility. Visibility fuels relevance. And in the entertainment ecosystem, relevance is currency. But here's the twist. Sometimes real emotions get swallowed by digital spectacle. If there was genuine tension, it instantly became entertainment for millions. If there was real concern, it became a trending topic. That's the paradox. The more serious something might be, the more it gets manned. Blueface's alleged war energy added an entirely new layer. Because now this wasn't just two individuals clashing, it was camps forming, fans picking sides, comment sections turning tribal. You could practically hear the battle music playing in the background of every repost, Zena Zion's silence, or limited response. Depending on which clip you believe, became part of the intrigue. Was she avoiding escalation? Was she strategizing? Or was she simply letting the storm rage without feeding it? Silence online is never neutral. It's interpreted, analyzed, WAPONIZED. Meanwhile, Chrisean's alleged hospital situation hovered like a dramatic question mark over everything. No confirmed medical details, no official timeline. Just speculation swirling like a tornado of takes, and the longer clarity took to arrive, the louder the narrative became. This wasn't just gossip anymore, it was digital mythology forming in real time. And here's the truth nobody wants to admit: the internet doesn't crave resolution. It craves continuation. If everything had been calmly clarified within an hour, the buzz would have died instantly. But ambiguity is oxygen for online drama. By the end of the day, what started as tension had evolved into a full-blown spectacle. Hospital rumors, war declarations, trending hashtags, reaction videos popping up like mushrooms after rain. And through all of it, one thing was undeniable: whether exaggerated, misunderstood, or completely blown out of proportion, this situation had captured the timeline's full attention. And just when you thought the situation couldn't possibly stretch any further without snapping, the internet did what it does best. It escalated everything to blockbuster levels. Because once a rumor reaches critical mass, it stops behaving like gossip and starts acting like a franchise. Sequels, spin-offs, reaction channels. Think pieces. Everybody wants a piece of the chaos pie within 24 hours. Timelines weren't just discussing the alleged hospital visit anymore. They were dissecting it like a season finale of a reality show that forgot to pay its writers. Meme pages went into overdrive. Somebody edited dramatic music behind blurry clips. Another account added slow-motion zoom-ins like it was in nature. Documentary studying conflict in the wild. And let's talk about the memes for a second. Because the internet can turn a potential crisis into comedy faster than you can blink, one side posted exaggerated breaking news graphics. Another side compared the situation to wrestling storylines. People were tweeting things like, "This feud has more plot twists than a soap opera on caffeine." And honestly, they weren't wrong. But here's where things took a sharper turn. Alleged celebrity reactions started surfacing. Influencers chimed in, some played neutral, others subtly picked sides. And you know it's messy when people who weren't even in the room suddenly have passionate opinions about what went down. Reaction videos popped up with titles that sounded like movie trailers. The truth about what really happened exposed. What they don't want you to know. Suddenly, everybody was an investigative journalist with a ring light, and the public outrage. Oh, it was loud. Comment sections turned into gladiator arenas. One camp defended Chrisean fiercely, framing her as misunderstood and constantly targeted. Another camp questioned her decisions, suggesting the drama was self-inflicted. Meanwhile, a third group just wanted popcorn and front row seats to the next episode. But the real accelerant remained Blueface's alleged declaration that this isn't over. Line echoed through the internet like a villain monologue before the third act battle. Every time someone reposted it, the tension doubled. Was it protective? Was it pride? Or was it performance art crafted for maximum engagement? Because let's be honest, in today's digital ecosystem, outrage and attention are roommates. Sometimes it's hard to tell where emotion ends and branding begins. People began theorizing about motives. Some said it was about loyalty. Others said it was about control. A few insisted it was all strategic chaos designed to dominate headlines. The conspiracies multiplied like rabbits on an energy drink. One viral thread claimed the entire situation was a calculated distraction. Another insisted it was genuine emotional fallout that spiraled out of control. And because there was no official clarity, both sides felt equally possible. That's the genius and the danger of ambiguity. It allows everyone to write their own script. Then came the comparison era. Because the internet loves a pop culture parallel. Suddenly people were saying this drama made previous celebrity feuds look tame. This makes reality TV look scripted. One comment read, another user joked, at this point, we need a reunion special hosted by someone brave. The sarcasm was relentless, but beneath the jokes, there was real intensity. Fans were emotionally invested. They weren't just watching, they were choosing sides, and once fans pick teams, neutrality becomes impossible. Even old interviews resurfaced with captions like, look at the foreshadowing. Clips from months ago were being analyzed like hidden Easter eggs in a Marvel movie. People slowed down footage to read facial expressions. They zoomed in on body language. At this rate, someone was about to pull out a laser pointer and diagram the tension. Meanwhile, alleged insiders kept popping up, anonymous accounts claiming to know the real story. Each one offered a slightly different version. One claimed the hospital visit was precautionary and brief. Another suggested it was more serious than people realized. A third insisted the confrontation never reached that level at all. 3 narratives, 0 receipts, infinite engagement. And that's when the outrage started mutating into something louder. Spectacle. Live streams were hosted just to debate the situation. Commentators invited guests who claimed proximity to the drama. It felt less like social media and more like a chaotic town hall meeting where nobody had verified information, but everyone had strong opinions. What made it even wilder was how quickly the narrative evolved. At first it was about the alleged blow-up. Then it became about loyalty. Then it became about respect. Then it turned into a referendum on character. That's the internet's favorite transformation. From incident to identity. Suddenly, people weren't just arguing about what happened. They were arguing about who these individuals are as people. That's a heavy leap to make based on fragments of footage and speculative captions. But online, leaps are taken without looking down. And through all of it, the phrase "declare war" stuck like glue. Even if it was metaphorical, even if it was emotional hyperbole, the image of war carries weight. It sounds dramatic. It sounds final. It sounds like escalation is inevitable. So naturally, expectations skyrocketed. fans started predicting retaliation. They speculated about public responses. Some even anticipated diss tracks, interviews, or explosive livestream rebuttals because once a narrative feels cinematic, the audience expects cinematic payoffs. But here's the ironic twist. Sometimes the loudest drama produces the quietest real-world outcomes still in that moment. It felt like the calm before something even bigger. The algorithm kept feeding the fire. Every repost added oxygen. Every reaction video added fuel. Every sarcastic tweet added spark. It became less about truth and more about momentum. And momentum doesn't ask questions, it just moves. The entire situation felt like a digital hurricane spinning fast, pulling in random commentary, lifting speculation into the air, and dropping it back down as facts. Meanwhile, some voices attempted reason. A few users reminded everyone that none of this had been officially confirmed. They encouraged patience. They suggested stepping back. Those voices were drowned out almost instantly because patience doesn't trend. Chaos does not. By the time the second day rolled around, this wasn't just a rumor. It was a phenomenon. Hashtags, reaction compilations, debate panels. You would think this was a pay-per-view event instead of an alleged personal conflict. And the wildest part, the central question still hovered unanswered. What actually happened? But maybe that question wasn't even the point anymore. The spectacle had become its own attraction. The outrage had become entertainment. The narrative had become larger than the incident. And when a story reaches that size, it stops belonging to the people involved. It belongs to the crowd. And just like that, the smoke didn't clear. It thickened because once a public storm reaches Category 5 status, the aftermath doesn't arrive quietly. It drips in slowly, like tension refusing to clock out. By the third day, the energy had shifted from explosive to strategic. The men's were still flying, but now they had edge. The debates weren't just loud, they were calculated, and everyone was watching for the next move. Like this was a chess match played on Instagram stories. If Chrisean really did end up at a hospital, even briefly, that detail alone carried weight. Hospitals aren't punchlines, they aren't props. They instantly elevate the seriousness of any situation. And whether the visit was precautionary, exaggerated, or misinterpreted, the optics were powerful. In the digital arena, optics are everything. Suddenly, the conversation evolved from what happened to what does this say about everyone involved. That's when reputations quietly stepped into the ring for Chrisean. The narrative split in two directions. One side painted her as constantly under pressure, caught in cycles of public conflict that seemed to follow her like background music. The other side framed her as willingly walking into chaos, fully aware of the spotlight it brings. Both narratives gained traction. Both narratives trended. For Zena Zion, the situation morphed into a branding crossroads. Silence can look mature. Silence can also look suspicious. Responding can feel strong. Responding can also fuel the fire. It's a lose-lose scenario once the internet decides you're part of the storyline. Every move is dissected like a slow-motion replay. And then there's Blueface. Declaring this isn't over might have sounded powerful in the heat of the moment. But in the cold light of viral scrutiny, it became a lightning rod. Was it loyalty, ego? Performance, protective instinct turned theatrical. The phrase echoed through countless reaction videos, stitched into dramatic edits with ominous music like he was narrating a trailer for Chaos, the sequel. The problem with dramatic declarations is that they create expectations. When you say something isn't over, the crowd expects escalation. They expect retaliation. They expect a climax. And if that climax doesn't arrive, the audience starts writing their own. That's exactly what happened. Speculation about what comes next started snowballing. Would there be a live stream expose, a diss track, a tell-all interview, a surprise alliance shift? The internet doesn't just watch drama, it scripts it. But real life isn't always that cinematic. And here's where the impact really hits. Beyond the noise, beyond the edits and commentary channels, there are reputational consequences that linger longer than hashtags. Brands watch, collaborators watch, future opportunities watch. Chaos might trend, but stability signs contracts. Public perception is fragile. It can flip in a single viral moment. One day you're entertaining, the next day you're exhausting. The crowd's attention is powerful, but it's also unpredictable. This situation also spotlighted something bigger, the way personal conflict becomes public currency. The internet doesn't just consume drama, it monetizes it. Reaction channels gained views, commentary pages gained followers, even meme accounts saw spikes. Controversy isn't just viral, it's profitable. And that raises a question nobody likes asking out loud. When does real emotion and digital performance begin? Because in a world where engagement equals relevance, lines blur. A heated confrontation can morph into content. A cryptic caption can function like marketing. And suddenly, what might have been a private disagreement becomes a multi-day spectacle with millions of spectators. But here's the twist that makes this saga even more unpredictable. The louder the drama gets, the faster the audience can turn. Today they're invested. Tomorrow they're fatigued. Attention spans are ruthless. If something shinier trends, yesterday's chaos becomes background noise. That's why the aftermath feels so delicate. If Chrisean steps back and resenders, the narrative could soften. If Zena addresses it directly, the storyline could pivot. If Blueface doubles down, the flames could reignite instantly. It's a social media chessboard, and every piece matters. What makes this entire situation feel like a Netflix cliffhanger isn't just the alleged hospital visit or the bold declarations. It's the unpredictability. No official timeline, no confirmed sequence, just fragments stitched together by millions of opinions. And sometimes that uncertainty is more powerful than clarity, because clarity ends stories. Ambiguity keeps them alive, right now. The internet is holding its breath, waiting, watching, refreshing. The comments haven't slowed down. The reaction videos haven't stopped. The speculation hasn't cooled. But here's the part that feels almost poetic. Eventually, the noise fades. It always does. Another headline will drop. Another feud will trend. Another dramatic declaration will hijack the algorithm. And this saga will either become a footnote in a long list of viral moments, or it will resurface later as chapter 1 of something bigger. That's the wild gamble of public drama. You never know if you're starring in a short clip or the opening scene of a trilogy. And maybe that's why this isn't overhit so hard. Not because it promised violence or retaliation, but because it hinted at continuation. Continuation is the internet's favorite word. So where does this leave everyone involved? In a spotlight that doesn't blink. In a narrative still being written. In a moment that could either define them or disappear into the endless scroll of yesterday's outrage. So what do you think? Was this a genuine emotional explosion that spiraled out of control? Or are we watching the most chaotic rollout strategy social media has ever seen? Because let's be honest, in 2026, you can't tell if it's heartbreak, hype, or Hollywood-level storytelling without a script. And the timeline is eating it up like it's an all-you-can drama buffet. If Chrisean really ended up at the hospital, that's serious. If the situation was exaggerated, that's strategic. And if Blueface really meant this isn't over, then buckle up, because the sequel trailer practically edited itself. Either way, the chaos isn't random. It's calculated, emotional, unpredictable, and we're watching it unfold in real time. Now I need you in the comments like a courtroom jury. Drop your verdict. Who's escalating? Who's reacting? Who's playing chess while the rest are playing checkers? And don't just lurk, speak up. Because the comment section on this channel is basically group therapy mixed with a debate stage. If you made it this far, smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe like. The next scandal drops tomorrow because let's be real, it probably will. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single twist. Because when drama detonates, we break it down louder, sharper, and wilder than anybody else. This isn't just commentary. This is front row access to celebrity chaos. And trust me, if this war isn't over, we'll be right here when the next bomb drops. Welcome to Celeb Insanity.